Hey everybody, this is Monson Steed, and we are on CEO to CEO, one of my favorite CEOs in the world. That is a true, no limit, limitless inspirer of a whole Black nation. Maybe you're not sure that you're a member of it, but if you aren't, you now know that you are part of the No Limit Nation. And I am talking to none other than my brother, Master P. What's happening?
What's going on, bro?
Man, you know, I'm so proud you always being not. I love hearing you say the word father, like that whole essence. What is fatherhood?
Fatherhood to me ain't no hood like fatherhood. First of all, it's one of my most important jobs. Being a dad, being there for my kids, and no matter what a family consists of, whether you got girls or boys or whatever, it's gonna be adversity. It's about getting through that as a family. It's no perfect family. And love is gonna help you get through anything. And I'll do anything for my kids. That's what fatherhood is all about. Making a lifetime commitment to your kids.
So you're on this hot new show. It's truly got four of you. You got four giant dads, obviously. Yeah. Marvin Sapp, Derek Luke, and Tristan McWiles. But when you first heard your first child call you dad, how did you feel?
I mean, that was Romeo. I feel good. I realized that, wow, I brought a life into this world and I got to do the right thing. I have to make some changes in my life. I need to be responsible. And it's just a feeling that is unexplainable, that you know that now you actually brought a child into this world and you have to be responsible.
So when you think about the fact, and for me, as a business mogul and true titan of industry, you've birthed a lot of courage in people when you named your brand No Limit. I don't know that we recognize that when we say it. I think, you know, I don't know that you get your flowers because they often talk about music mogul, and I don't see you as that. I see you creating a whole no limit nation inside of young brothers that got courage that they couldn't have gotten. Why did you want to inspire young men to know that there wasn't a limit inside of them?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted people to know if I could make it out the environment I come from and I was able to change my life, it's no limit to what they could do. And if other people see me on the right track and doing the right thing, they'll realize that, you know what, if P could make it, I could make it. And when you talk about no limit, it's no limit to your dreams and your goals. And I always thought like that, even as a kid, that it's going to be no limit to my success, and hopefully that other people see that and be inspired by that too.
Well, just think about this. You birth a lot of products. Obviously, we know the No Limit brand. How, and for me, just so that people recognize this as a CEO, I think when they say Master P and they say Apple Music, it's the same thing.
Yes.
If ever Master P would have gone public, and they would have funded him and given him $1 billion, and No Limit would be exactly that. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, no. If you look at it, us as consumers, we fund a lot of these corporations, and we have to keep educating ourselves and understand how to take a company public. Me and James Lindsay was talking about that the other day. That's the next phase of our business, of being able to take these companies public. Education and knowledge is the most important thing that we could get. If you look at the Miata shoes, Nike started a long time ago to where nobody believed in them, but when they was able to go public, they was able to build those companies, those brands. When you talk about Rap Snack and the Icon chips, the Icon noodles, the Master P, Uncle P fish fries, you talk about the water, LA Great, living life authentically gets you really excited about today. And I mean, that's what this is about, being able to have our own product and to be able to grow and understand how to take these companies and these products and these brands public, and also give our people an opportunity to make money and build with us together. And we haven't been taught that. They don't teach us that in college. They don't teach us that in high school. And I want to break that cycle to where I give my next generation and give my generation in our culture that blueprint and that information. We got to stop hiding this information from each other and be able to do what Reginald Lewis was able to do. When you read the book, Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? So we are expanding, we're educating ourselves, and we are growing. And that's the only way we're going to build economic empowerment, through knowledge and information.
So when you say, for all those that haven't, you've taken every industry, film,
Yeah.
music,
Yes.
consumer goods,
Yes.
and demonstrated how to go to market. If
Yes.
you were telling a young entrepreneur how to father and be a dad to a brand, what would you share with them that they need to know that they can do today to bring a product to market?
Yeah, I think the most important is do your research, do your homework, and also realize that you actually can do it. A lot of these people was just people, just like us, ordinary people with ideas. People don't realize it's all about success come from the idea. It don't come from the money. And so a lot of people think, oh, well, I need all this money. No, you need the idea. The money will come if you get the right idea. People will invest in it. People will want to be a part of it. And that's the great thing. We don't have ideas. That's why we are poor. So it's a lack of education and it's a lack of ideas. And so any young person that's coming up, I'm telling you, take your idea. Don't be afraid to fail. The guy that discovered the light bulb failed 1,000 times. But you have to believe in what you have. And once you get it right, you have to trust the process. Trust the process, and don't be afraid to learn from your failure. I tell people all the time, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. So learn from these lessons and get better. It's almost like being an athlete. You stay in the gym, you're going to get better.
So in getting better, obviously you've had the family, you and Romeo on television. All of a sudden they say 4 Black men on TV for Oprah, another billionaire woman's network, and they're going to invite you to hang out with a spiritual bishop like Brother Warren Sapp. What does that feel like that she and her network invited you, but just for the camaraderie to be a part of that message?
Well, you know, when you talk about Oprah Winfrey, she's a very successful woman that made a lot of sacrifices. So being a part of this and have her spotlight African-American men in a good light, because TV normally don't do that. They want to show the drama, they want to show the negativity, but to actually see African-American fathers being responsible and taking care of their kids, building a generational wealth, educating their kids, is not perfect fathers, but going through adversity and overcoming it with their kids and their families. I think it's a beautiful thing, because we always show the negative stuff, and that's what we portray. When you see negativity, you portray it. When you see drugs and alcohol everywhere, then that's what you want to be like. But if you see positive, or you see, you know, they spotlighting on the news and all these networks, so where we sending all these people to prison, you know, now we changing that narrative, because the people on here, we're sending our kids to college. We taking that stereotypical stuff away and said, we're not sending our kids to prison. We're sending them to college. We programming them to be great people. We educating them. We making sure that they have that they have the things that they need to go to succeed in life, because we made the sacrifices as African-American men to do right, cut people off that wasn't right for us, and also just making sure our kids have integrity in work ethics.
So when it came time to give what you hadn't gotten as a dad, what did you make sure that you poured in your kids that you hadn't gotten?
Well, everything, spending time. I think time is the most important thing that you could do. A lot of parents that grew up in our time, in our era, they was busy, they had to work. By having our own companies and creating our own brands, we could work with our kids. We could spend more time with them. We could take them to school. We don't need nannies raising our kids, because we have the time, because we are entrepreneurs. We are business people that own our business. That way, when you own something, you're able to create more time to spend with your family. And that's what the amazing thing has been for me.
So for a young dad who really doesn't have the experience that you have.
Yeah,
Obviously, Romeo. I've
yeah,
been with you where you with the boys, and they feel so completely detached, and yet they know they're attached to you. They're
yeah.
in the house, they're in this beautiful house, but they still understand they're part of this community, and giving is just part of what your brand does. How do you pour into them so that a young father should understand or can understand? How do you communicate with your kids? How are you the dad whisperer? Because if I had to describe somebody who's a dad whisperer, you truly are that dad whisperer to his sons.
Yeah, well, I think that you got to give your kids respect and you'll get it back. And I think believing in them and telling them you're proud of them and understanding them and being able to be a part of some of the things that they want to do. I just think that for me, it's not just about me. You can't be selfish as being a dad. Everybody wants your attention. You have to be able to make time for all your kids. And I think that just has been the greatest thing for me, putting God first, showing my kids who God is. And these are blessings, and also taking them with me when I go out into the community. Our business model is the more we make, the more we give. We realize we can't take none of this with us. So leaving an imprint on this earth is so important, and being able to pass that down and pass the education and knowledge down to the kids. That's what building a generational wealth is for with me. It's all knowledge, information, and education.
For those, you still a father in New Orleans. Like
Yes,
we obviously Katrina, and then it looked like a remake. And when they scheduled the interview, they say Master P was down home giving and
yeah,
supporting and raising funds. Why is it important for you to continue when you're not paid? If anything, you're actually paying to go back home and let them see you participate, give, and know
yeah.
that you're loving your community and the fact that you don't have to. Why is it important that they see that?
Well, these are the people that raised me. This is what built my character. And I want to show the kids in this generation, in the next generation, that I was able to make it out and not change who I am. Uh, some people say success and money change people that don't. It just brings out who you are. And knowing that I love my city, Louisiana, without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And if I could help, I'm in a good space in my life, I'm going to do my part. And it's not just about giving, but it's about showing up, giving your time, spreading that love, giving that hope to the people that you love, that you've been around, that helped raise you. Being able to be there for the elderly is so important for me, and to be able to be there for the next generation, knowing that we're preparing and saving lives at the same time. Uh, our kids don't get a chance to see that. We think that we got to be some tough guy, we got to be from the streets. No, it's okay to change, grow up. And I tell all the kids that are in my program, Team Hope, is that if one of y'all make it, y'all just come back and help the next generation, because you don't owe me nothing. And that's how we pay it forward.
So that's a philosophy that you live by, and you're sharing that with your children.
Yes,
But
sir.
for all of those who don't know, um, just the legacy of grandparents and love that you receive, that you mirror, how did your grandparents kind of shape who you are, even as a dad, and in what we'll see in this show?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my grandparents were strong and tough. My grandmother, Big Mama, she was tough. She made sure I got education. She made sure I went to church. My grandfather, he was uh, a soldier in Vietnam War. Then when he came home, he was a cook, he was a chef. He always made these meals for us. He came up with all these snacks. So when you look at the snack foods that I have, my grandfather created, he made something out of onions. He deep fried the onions that I use in a Big Papa restaurant. So that was like onion rings. And he also deep fried bacon. And people call that now, they call that pork rinds, but he did that way back in the 1950s and been doing that till he passed. But that gave me, he was a cook. He created all these different, and that's where the seafood, the Louisiana seafood, the Uncle P fish fry, and all the spices and stuff come from my grandfather and my grandmother because they cooked for everybody in the community. And they always was there for the people. Nobody went without having food when they knew that they could go to Big Mama and Big Daddy house and eat. They was gonna at least give you a plate, something to eat, something to drink. And I think with my kids, I'm able to spread that back down to them, and they know that they need to move it forward the same way.
You've connected. Obviously, there's Xavier there's Dillard where
Yeah.
you're at, and all of a sudden, everybody seems surprised that Master P's not only talking about HBCUs, he's erecting HBCUs. Obviously, why? Why be a CEO when you could still just act like it's a snack? You're demonstrating something. What should we know that as a dad of cultural movements, you're suggesting that we get behind when you get behind HBCUs?
Yeah, I got behind the HBCU because this is our culture, this is our people, this is the next generation. And we need to educate them, let them understand economics, banking, why credit is so important. And then me sending my son there. My son goes to Tennessee State University in Nashville, and we got a chance to see the good things at HBCUs and then the stuff that's not good. When you talk about the buildings, the facilities, how they put money into these other state-funded schools, and they don't give that same money. You know, we got some of the greatest athletes go to HBCUs. They have chips on their shoulder. They prepared. A lot of these guys are in the professional sports because they come with chips on their shoulders because they didn't have all the tools that a lot of these other major universities have. And I want to change that. I want to expose that to these different states and say, we got to make sure our kids have the same educational plan that these major universities have. And we got to make sure we have the same equipment so we can prepare for the future, just like these other generations of schools that are national schools. And we need to put that money into our athletic department so we can make money back into the school to keep the school going. So I'm just happy to be a part of that, to say, you know what, let's share some light on this. Let's figure out how to make our HBCUs look just as good as the other national schools that they have, that they're showcasing on TV. And by me being a part of that, I'm able to see now what the problem is and see how we could fix it, and see how we can put some pressure on these different states to put money back into HBCU. So we want our kids to have a great start in the education, just like the rest of the schools have. And we want them to have a first class version of that.
So all of a sudden, college students now can, make money from their image.
Yes.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, my son, Hersey Miller, he's probably one of the highest paid college players. And his season is just about to start this year. The rules has changed. I mean, I made $400 a month when I played college basketball. I played at the University of Houston. And now kids are really able to make money off their name and likeness. This should have been happening. It's going to keep more kids in college. Kids are going to stay and get their education, and then they'll move on and be a professional athlete, which will have something to fall back on.
So as you see this movement, what are the opportunities for us to be more Black agents, more Black individuals, not only on the front coaching, but them expanding to have some Black markets where we actually are customizing ownership? So expanding the league, even internationally, where Black people can actually own expansion teams. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's happening now. I've been talking to a lot of brothers that are doing that right now at this moment. And what LeBron James is doing with his agency, and to be able to put other brothers on and build them up to where they can compete with the bigger companies, the bigger agencies, and being able to put money together and to be a part of buying NBA teams. So it's happening now. You look at a lot of the athletes. You look at D Wade. You look at athletes getting into the other side of the game, saying we're not going to be able to play sports forever, but if we educate ourselves and prepare, they're not letting financial advisors just take all their money anymore. People are starting to write their own checks, And that's coming through education and watching other people situations and feelings and saying, okay, this person feel that this financial advisor stole money from me. I need to not only be a professional athlete now I need to prepare myself on economics and banking, building relationships with bankers to be able to put deals together, having a financial team that can put deals together. So now you can go after buying teams, other corporations. So, I mean, we are blessed now, man, that we are starting to think outside the box. So you're going to see a lot of more African-American owners that normally you wouldn't see.
So for you as a CEO,
Yeah.
when you think about being a dad, how are you preparing all of those boys and your daughter to be
Yeah.
CEOs in their own right? What do you say to them as you are the dad whisperer? Because it's obvious when I see them that they're proud, they're being set up
Yeah.
to be CEOs. What do you say? What do you tell them? What are the leadership tips that other dads should share with their children about money and being a CEO?
Well, I tell my kids, we all CEOs because we all own all these different companies, and don't work for the money. It has to be something that you love and you're passionate about. And you have to have integrity and don't be afraid to learn from your mistakes and trust the process. It's not going to happen overnight. Do something you love and don't look for expectations of people. Get out there and create opportunity. Don't sit around and wait for it. And any other CEOs, any other family members of CEOs, don't be afraid to be your own boss because it's like a car. One person might be the CEO, but you got the engine on one side, you got the start on the other side. We need a great team.
So when you think about that, young CEOs are thinking you've had a lot of experiences building teams. What are the three most important things for a CEO to understand about building a team?
All right. Well, a CEO has an open mind for technology and what's going on if you want to be successful. Also, the most important thing is you got to know what consistency is. And the next thing is you can't be afraid to get out there and work and learn everything yourself. I think that's the most valuable thing that you need to know. If you don't know what's your whole business, if you don't know what your company is about, because what if, like the pandemic, a lot of people stop coming to work, you might have to do 5 or 10 people jobs as a CEO until you're able to build that back up. Life is like a seesaw, it go up and down, just like business. You can't be afraid to get out there and do what it takes to build this company. And like I said, and have integrity.
I love you speak of integrity, but just walk us through. You've got this massive conglomerate in front of you.
Yes.
It's water, it's
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah.
If I wanted to buy the tennis shoes, where would I go today?
Go to Monyatti.com. That's MONEYATTI, Monyatti.com.
And I'm going to go today.
Yeah.
Why should we be proud to buy a pair of tennis shoes, even if we never wore them?
Well, I think that because when you look at the more we make, the more we give. Every shoe that you purchase, one go back to giving to inner city kids education and helping feed the elderly. So it's so important, man. Like we have some of the top brands. Like when you look at if you want something laid back, if you want something kind of loud, if you want something simple, we have something for everybody. And our mission is so important in that if you trust the process, we're going to be bigger than Gucci. We're going to be bigger than Nike one day. So we was able to help them and help fund their business. Because when Nike wasn't that good, we were still buying Nike shoes, just buying it because it was Nike. And then I feel like when Jordan came along, that brand got taken to the next level and we was able to trust the process then. So I'm saying the same thing. If we trust the process, the more shoes we sell, we'll be able to give back to the community and we'll be able to do a lot of the stuff that we waiting for the government or waiting for somebody else to do for. We'll be able to do it for our community. Then we're able to create thousands of milliardy companies to where it's not just me, other brands that African Americans and Latinos have that we're going to be able to grow, and we're going to be able to take care of ourselves.
Well, for me, I was speaking of all the great things you mentioned, but I was challenging our community to have a different mindfulness about, you got shoes that you say you collect, but
Yeah.
are you collecting Master P shoes? Or you got shoes that you put in the closet of other brands? Can you erase your mentality enough to support a brother that's in the tennis shoe business? So that's a challenge not only to myself, and I'm gonna demonstrate it by putting it on my social, but I want to challenge us all to be able to support a brother without expecting to get something other than the love that you know in your heart that you did something that was Black focused, Black committed, and was a Black CEO who you've seen historically continue to give and inspire. So I thank you for all that you give, brother. I just want us to understand what collective economics. If we're not in the tennis shoe business, water business, chip business, we can't even recycle our dollars with each other. But at this moment, particularly in tennis shoes, and everybody keeps saying they got a collection, then if they're not collecting you, I got a problem with that. Because I think that means that's self-hate. I'm hating on my brother and I'm buying tennis shoes from somebody who ain't gonna never say what's up or told you to yourself that you're limitless and been there when Katrina and every other place has hit us or inspired and stepped up for HBCUs when nobody else was in the rap game. So I just want to say thank you, brother, and challenge our community to have a much more collective economic mindset and stop being so minimalistic in terms of what we're willing to give and pay for and be judgmental, but instead do it in love and support of a Black community that they have not seen yet, but I know that I live with and through you because of what you do.
I appreciate it, my brother. And like you say in the Bible say nobody owes no man nothing but love. And man, I love my people. And I know that we're gonna overcome a lot of this adversity. We just gotta think outside the box, and we gotta keep feeding our people education and information. And you know, anybody that's watching, if you live right and you do what's right, God will keep blessing you. And I'm a living witness of that don't be afraid to change. And you definitely would have more brighter days than darker days.
Cool. On Spotlight, They Call Me Dad premieres tonight, September 14th at 9 p.m. on the Oprah Network. How was it participating with all the fellas?
Man, it was great. It was amazing to see all these different fathers and to see the love that they have for their kids and why they get up and go to work in the morning. It's all the same. Everybody just want their family to have a better life. And that's a great thing, man. That's motivating. It motivates me in the morning knowing that I get up for my kids and I do the right thing for them. And I think that's the journey we all want to be on, that if we have kids, let's be responsible and let's do the right thing for them.
Cool. I'm Muncie Steed. This is Rolling Out, CEO to CEO with Master P. Much love to you, Master P. Continued success. I'm going to buy those shoes. Clearly, this is part of our Star Studio, and we need to know that. We're going to hold 1 second, Master P, and she's going to get a little drop from me.